Stop searching and start staying in the know.
Hey Houston, this is Alan Hernandez, and I want to... Hey Houston real estate agents, this is Alan Hernandez, broker.
Coming to you live from the White Picket Studios in Houston, Texas, this is the Realty Ruckus. If you are in any way, shape, or form involved in the real estate industry, this is the show for you. And now, your host, Alan Hernandez.
Welcome to the Realty Ruckus out of the White Picket Realty Studios. I am your host, Alan Hernandez. Sitting next to me, your producers, David Bonilla, Gibran Hernandez. We are here to make sure that your real estate business is growing. We're on every Tuesday and Thursday from 1:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. And we're here to have a good time today, right? As always. Now, don't forget that you can drop all your questions, comments, concerns, anything that you want to talk about down below. We have a phenomenal show planned out for you guys, as always. And we can't wait to tell you guys about all the cool items that we want to discuss today, including some tips on Airbnbs, which I know everyone wants to learn about, everyone wants to talk about. So we're going to talk about that a little later in the show today. But first, I want to tell you guys a little bit about...
We also have Is It Racist today.
Oh, well, you know, we don't get to play this
every
as often as we like. But later in the show today, if you guys stay tuned, we're going to play our favorite game called Is It Racist? And you guys get a chance to vote yes or no. You guys will either give us a thumbs up or an angry face down below by letting us know what you think of these cases.
Leo's calling David out and saying that he bought one of your caps.
You saw that? Leo, if you watched the show, if you watched the last show, you would have noticed that I was selling my Supreme hat, and it looks like I found a buyer.
I told him you profited $30 off my poor soul.
Hey, you know what's crazy? Is this morning I lived the experience of what these guys call the drop. Yeah. Right? That's whenever they drop the new items on the website. And I shit you not, man. The second that he was like, it just dropped. And he went to go click it. He was putting his credit card information in. Boom, by the time he put his credit card information, he hit buy, sold out. Yep. I mean, it literally, they weren't kidding. I was really impressed with that. It sells out just like that. Oh my God, man, it's crazy. It's just insane that stuff, just because it says Supreme.
Just because it says Supreme. It's hot. It's not because it's nice at all, by the way. The material, the way that it's made, I don't find anything extremely nice about it just because it says Supreme.
I don't think it's necessarily bad either.
No, I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not. I mean, I've seen worse, but I would never pay $100 for that hat.
No, right?
I wouldn't. But there are people out there that do. Anyways, let's talk a little bit about real estate. And I want to tell you guys a little bit of story, but before we get just right into real estate, I want to tell you guys a little bit about how I went to the park yesterday. Is that all right? Can I tell you guys that story?
I love how he goes, let's talk a little bit about real estate.
It leads to real estate, I promise.
But first, I want to talk about going to the park.
And I'm going to tell you guys why it leads to real estate, and we're going to and I promise I'll make a connection. I won't go around in circles today only. So yesterday I went to the park, and you know, we're learning how to longboard. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just looping in.
Oh, you're tracking my circle. So we're learning how to longboard. I'm learning how to longboard, and Danny, my 7-year-old, he's like, man, I really like that. That seems really cool. So 2 days ago, we went out to the van store. And he picked out like his own vans, and he was like, man, I love that board. So he picked out his own board. So now he's got like vans and a board. I refuse to buy him anything that says Supreme on it, so he won't get that. But
just draw it on with a permanent mark.
Yeah, but you know what's going to be funny? One day you're going to see a charge on one of your credit cards, and it's going to be from a reseller, and you're going to have sold your own stuff back to your kid.
No, never. Anyway, yesterday we're on this trail. We went to the little park here on Bel Air by Chinatown.
Yeah.
And turns out it's a really great park to go out and do some longboarding on. And we were like a quarter of the way in on the trail. It's about a 2.5 mile trail.
Yeah,
and
that's a long trail.
And he like breaks down. You know, he's like, "Oh man, this is so hard. I can't do this." And he starts getting all teary-eyed, and he's like, "You know what? I'm done. You know, I'm tired. I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore." And so I took him to the side and I said, "Hey, what do you mean? What's going on? Are you quitting?" And he's like, "Yeah, I guess I am. I guess I'm quitting." So I asked him. I was like, "Well, you know, am I raising a quitter? Is that what you're telling me?" And he's like, no. I was like, "What are you?" And he's like, "Well, you know, I'm a winner."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, what do winners do?" What do winners do? And he's like, "Well, we don't quit." So anyways, he gets back on his board and he gives it a try. And even though he's got tears in his eyes and whatnot, he finishes the entire thing, right? 2.5 miles on his board. And by the end, he gets done.
Yeah,
he gets
I'm like,
done.
damn, dude, that's some hardcore shit.
Here's the thing. He gets done and he's super happy. He's super ecstatic. He feels great because he finished it. And he goes home, and instead of telling his mom that he had such a hard time and cried half of the way, he tells his mom that he had a great time and that he really enjoyed it and can't wait to do it again.
Good.
And it dawned on me, this is the same thing that happens with everything in real estate. Think about like agents that come in and they want to get into real estate, or anybody that starts a real estate business, or they want to flip houses, or they want to buy Airbnbs. And you get into it and you're like, "Oh, it's going to be super easy. I'm just going to go, you know, hop on this board and it's going to just cruise for me." Yeah. And it never, ever happens that way. Nothing ever goes that easy. You go through this like terrible learning curve. You go through like a little downhill. You fall off. You scratch your face up a little bit. You bump your eye or whatever.
Damn.
And it hurts. It hurts. And you get a little bit teary-eyed along the way. And you just got to get up and keep trying. So now that I've made the full circle around, I want to talk about the guy that just set the record on how many transactions he completed to be on the Guinness Book of Records. And this was pretty crazy. How many was it? 30?
No, you know how many?
3,500?
35 over 3,500.
It was over 3,500. Yeah, it was 3,000.
There you go.
Oh, go ahead, David.
3,556 transactions.
3,056
transactions.
No, 556.
3,000.
Don't short him 500.
Yeah, I know,
He's
man.
counting.
I'm like, those 500 transactions is more than most people are doing.
I'm pretty sure I said 3,500. 3,500 transactions.
3,556. So those 56 matter. That's more than other agents are doing.
So what's that? 70 a week.
That's a lot.
68 transactions a week.
Now this guy's been in the business for 50 years.
That was just the sell side. So that's not talking about any of the listings that he does. This is only buyers that he's represented.
Yeah.
He represented 3,556 buyers in 1 year. And the total volume of that was $1.44 billion.
With a B.
And what David calculated it came out to about $43 million in total commissions. Yeah. And here's a crazy thing. This guy is not even doing most of the work himself.
Yeah.
He built an entire business from a niche, and we got to go to a quick commercial break. But when we get back, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the niche that he got into.
I love it.
And we'll talk real estate.
We'll talk real estate, not just going down the hill and crying along the way. All right, guys, stay tuned. You're on the Realty Ruckus. We'll be right back. Hey Houston, this is Alan Hernandez, and I want to remind you guys to visit our friends over at Quest IRA to learn everything there is to learn about investing with your IRA. Now, if you haven't been over there recently, you have to check them out. They have free educational classes, networking opportunities, the ability to tap into $1 billion for your real estate investing deals. These are the guys to know when it comes to learning about this kind of stuff. You want to make sure you visit them and check them out over at www.questira.com. Again, that's questira.com.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepicketrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepicketrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
Hey
guys, Alan here. Are you a home investor in need of house plans and permit expediting services? If so, Houston Plans and Permits is your local one-stop shop. They have over 15 years of professional design experience and have a strong team of knowledgeable permitting expediters to service all of your projects. Please contact them by calling them at 281-372-1555. Again, 281-372-1555. Or visit them at their website, plansandpermits.com. Again, that's www.plansandpermits.com.
Hey Houston real estate agents, this is Alan Hernandez, broker at White Picket Realty. I want to let you know that when you're ready to stop working your real estate career and start building a real estate business, Team WPR is a place to be. Not only do we offer real results, real support, and real branding, but furthermore, 80 to 100% commissions of your hard-earned money going back to you. So make sure you reach out to us. Join at teamwpr.com. Again, that's join, Join, at teamwpr.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember, you can find us live on Facebook and YouTube, where if you chat with us live during the show, we can answer your questions live on the air. Now, before we went to break, we're talking about this guy who set the world record for the most transactions closed by a single agent in one calendar year. This is for 2016.
3,500.
And here's the crazy thing. The next person down from him was 7 times less. So we're talking about they were at about 500 transactions. And that was the next best person. He's beating everyone, all of his competition, 7 times over. And he's not doing it with real estate agents. He's doing something completely unique and different. And this is the one tip. They said, what's the one biggest tip that you would give to real estate agents? And he said, find your niche. Find where you can specialize in and really start to dominate a market. And so I started looking him up. I started seeing what exactly is his niche. How is he running this business? And when you start to look at it, his entire business, and anyone who wants to check it out, it's homesusa.com. So that's www.homesusa.com, homes with an S. His whole business is focused around pairing up buyers with home builders. So he's just driving traffic of new home sales over to those home builders. There's 63 builders who he has contracts with. He puts all the listings up for them and then drives up just a crazy amount of traffic to get the buyers for those listings for these builders. And he's done an amazing job. He's only, and it's not even nationwide, because we know some guys that have teams that are like nationwide and they're doing 600 or 700 transactions, but they're nationwide and they've got multiple agents on their team. This guy is, he lives in Addison, Texas, which I guess is a little suburb outside of Dallas. Is that right?
He's out near Dallas.
He does 63 builders in Dallas, Houston, Fort Worth, Austin, and San Antonio.
So he's just generating massive amounts of buyer leads, funneling them all to these builders. The builders are taking good care of his clients and they're closing the transactions. He's putting his name on it.
It's really genius the way this whole thing is set up. I love it when I see stuff like this because it's really inspiring.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he thought outside the box. He found, and here's the one thing that all of us in the industry know. When you send a client to a builder, if you have a relationship with them, it's really easy because you don't have to sell the client on anything. The client gets sold by walking into that new house. The processor or the staff member that's there for the builder does all the work for you.
They do all the paperwork.
They do everything. Anything
they basically take it all the way to closing.
You really don't do anything, when you're representing a buyer in that regard, except introduce them to that builder and let them know what their options are.
Not only that, but one thing that you really have to think about that's so unique in his model, and I love it because it does. He says that he streamlines the process, and I completely agree with that because now he's got all these contracts. So, every builder has a very specific contract. He must know the heck out of those contracts. There's not a bunch of negotiating. There's not all this highest and best and fighting for offers and blah, 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 blah that you usually have to deal with. It's just, oh, you want that house? Boom, sold. You want that house? Boom, sold. You want that house? Boom, sold.
He's streamlined the process.
I mean, it's just like, he's like the McDonald's of houses. He created a fast process for pushing these houses through.
Even better, though, because he's got 63 products in one space. So someone would go to him and say, hey, this is what I want. I want to spend $300,000. And he's going to be able to say, okay, these are your 3 top options. Pick one.
Yeah, absolutely. This is incredible. And what he noticed is he said, this wouldn't work anywhere else in the United States except for Texas. And granted, look, this guy's been an agent for 50 years, a broker for 50 years. He got his license when he was 21. He's 71 years old now, but he's running an amazing business model. He employs 11 engineers, software engineers, not agents,
not buyer's agents,
not buyer's agents. He employs 11 software engineers, and like David said, even if he's paying each of them $250,000 or more, let's say that his total expenses are $5 million for everything that he's doing. That only represents about 10% of his total commission cut. This guy has truly found an incredible niche. He's showing a really good example of how you can be successful in an industry if you can just focus your efforts. Focus your energies on that one thing. Be really good at it. Be the best at that. And stop being a shotgun that's spread out so thin.
That tries everything.
Yeah, I think this is a perfect example. I guarantee you he had naysayers who were like, well, if you're only representing buyers for new builds, what's going to happen when the market makes a downturn? And he's going, what's going to happen is I'm going to corner the heck out of the market, and the people that are buying, then they're going to keep buying from me.
And that's the thing. People are always buying new construction.
Yeah.
There's never a shortage of people buying new construction. There's a shortage of affordable new construction, but people are always looking for that house that they can build and customize themselves and have it made to their liking. So this is genius. I love reading this again. Big ups to our friend, Mr. Caballero. 50 years in the business, closing 3,500 transactions.
He knows a thing or two about it.
Yeah, he does. That is awesome. I love seeing that. Let's talk a little bit
about a niche.
A niche.
We've been talking about niches, and something that we found is that there is a niche out there.
Yep.
And new software has made it very possible to jump into this niche. I feel like there was a point in time where owning a bed and breakfast was something you did when you became 50 years old and retired, and you're like, I'm going to go live in my bed and breakfast in the middle of somewhere, and I'll wake up every morning and serve them eggs and I don't know, whatever the heck else they do in bed and breakfast.
You're right. You kind of thought about it. You kind of thought about it as a retirement job. Right. You went out, you bought like a really cute little house somewhere popular, and then you hosted people and basically served them.
Yeah, right? I think about areas like New Braunfels, Green, where they have all these little bed and breakfasts, and they're that kind of bed and breakfast. Yeah,
they are.
Where the person lives there on site and they work there, but that's just not the model anymore.
It's not.
And here's the thing. When Airbnb first started, the biggest fear, and we were worried about it too, was government regulation. How's the government going to deal with all of these people basically subverting the multifamily rules and commercial rules for how you rent property? And basically the jurisdictions have said money's more important than the safety. So it was never about the safety, all those inspections.
Well,
it was about the money.
Everybody tried to say it was going to be about the safety, but what we have found is that there's so much money in people hosting their own bed and breakfast through websites like Airbnb that there's enough money to go around for everyone, and everyone's doing really, really well, including the government agencies that were worried about quote-unquote safety.
Because now they're slapping their taxes on there. Collecting their part.
Well, and like Leo says, another example is Fredericksburg. That's another little city where you would have your little bed and breakfast there, go retire.
That's
but
a cool
now
little city too.
You can be 21, 25 years old, go out, find a property in an area that's undervalued because of where it's at. It might be kind of a rough area, but as a little bed and breakfast, as a place where people come in and just stay, they can make a killing on it.
Oh yeah.
And so what we want to do is we want to give people a couple of tips regarding Airbnbs, at least what to look out for, so that you don't go out there and get yourself into a big old mess. Because I know that there's a lot of classes right now, a lot of gurus are popping up, and they're like, I saw an ad the other day on Facebook. It was like, own 3,000 Airbnbs without any of your own money. And I
saw that.
I know somebody who went to that class, and I said, what did they teach you? Like, how do you own that many Airbnbs? And he go, oh, actually, you don't own any of them. You go sign a bunch of leases at apartment complexes, and then you start Airbnb-ing it, and you do it until they kick you the hell out of there. And then you go to the next one, and you do it again and again and again. And you sign hundreds of these leases all over the place. I go, that's the worst freaking business model I've ever heard of. Like, let me go out there and put myself into legal liability hundreds of times over. So if that was your plan,
you wouldn't even get that far. They communicate with each other. I mean, when you do that,
apparently it's really popular to do that in areas like Los Angeles, where they have so much multifamily housing that they can't keep an eye on everything.
It's hard for them to control it.
Yeah, and even when we stayed in Los Angeles, we stayed in Airbnb. it was one of those where you feel really awkward because he's like, meet me on the corner across the street from the place.
There's going to be a guy there with dark shades and a hat, and we're going to exchange our keys.
The keys through there.
Swiftly.
Just look like you belong.
Do not tell anyone that you're staying as a guest.
Do not look anyone in the eyes. And no, you know what though? They are setting people up for failure by teaching them these strategies, these tactics, which basically just involve lying. And in the long run, that always ends up in some sort of lawsuit. So if you've heard those gurus out there telling you that you can own 3,000 Airbnbs or whatever the number is, go ahead and send them an email flipping them the bird, because it's not true. The truth is you can own Airbnbs, but you have to own them. You have to own them outright, right? Or at least get a mortgage on them. And if you buy them correctly and if you use the tips that we're getting ready to give you guys, you can do amazing at these. And we've gone through it. We've gotten sued a few times.
Oh, yeah. And I got no shame in that, because in order to learn a brand new industry, if you're going to be a trailblazer, and that's what we did when Airbnb started taking off, we said, we want to jump in the front of this. But trailblazers, you take the most wounds. You get hit with the most sand in the face. And we went through that. And we want you guys to not have to experience the same thing.
Absolutely.
So I want to give the one first biggest tip about any Airbnb property, and that's going to be, you need to know your HOA regulations, and you need to know them like the back of your hand. You literally have to have those things memorized. And what you need to be searching for is any clause in the HOA regulations that specifies against short-term or vacation rentals.
Correct.
And not every HOA has them, and there's some HOAs that will threaten you and say, Airbnbs are not legal here, you can't do it. And when you look at the regulations, there's no verbiage against that. There's verbiage against subleasing and all these other things, but against the regulation for short-term rental, there's no regulation for that.
And yes, some of them do have that. A lot of them don't. So you need to actually read through it or pay an attorney to read through it. Yeah. And when you don't do that, then you can run into the issue that we ran into with ours, where the HOA actually sends you a cease and desist and or sues you.
Yeah, and if you get sued, they get their temporary restraining order. I mean, they can really start to hurt your business. Yeah. And trust me, guys, those legal fees, they add up way faster than the amount of profit that you can make.
Even when it's a profitable Airbnb.
Oh, absolutely. Now, here's tip number 2. And I think this is one of the biggest mistakes that most people will make on an Airbnb. And you recently had a window broken at one of yours.
I did.
And I bet you were really glad that you checked your insurance policy. That you knew your insurance policy was set up for having short-term rentals, because it's a completely different policy than a homeowner's policy. It's a completely different policy than a tenant policy. This is a special policy that's a commercial policy set up for short-term rentals. And not every insurance agent can write those policies. So you really have to go out there and find the right agent who can write the right policy and know that you're covered.
Yes.
Because what happens is, let's say I have a renter. They come in, they're good people, but they leave the stove on. They go out, they leave the stove on, house burns down. Great, I'm covered, I have insurance. Well, I call my insurance company to file a claim, and they go, well, tell us a little bit about who was staying at the property. I go, oh, you know, it's an Airbnb. My Airbnb guest was staying there. And they go, oh, claim denied. You're not getting anything paid.
Not covered.
Because you had the wrong insurance. Now, we're going to give you some more tips on the other side of the break. We do have to take a quick commercial break. You're on the Realty Ruckus. We'll be right back.
Hey Houston, this is Alan Hernandez, and I want to remind you guys to visit our friends over at Quest IRA to learn everything there is to learn about investing with your IRA. Now, if you haven't been over there recently, you have to check them out. They have free educational classes, networking opportunities, the ability to tap into $1 billion for your real estate investing deals. These are the guys to know when it comes to learning about this kind of stuff. You want to make sure you visit them and check them out over at www.questira.com. Again, that's questira.com.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepicketrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepicketrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
Hey guys, Alan here. Are you a home investor in need of house plans and permit expediting services? If so, Houston Plans and Permits is your local one-stop shop. They have over 15 years of professional design experience and have a strong team of knowledgeable permitting expediters to service all of your projects. Please contact them by calling them at 281-372-1555. Again, 281-372-1555. Or visit them at their website, plansandpermits.com. Again, that's www.plansandpermits.com.
Hey Houston real estate agents, this is Alan Hernandez, broker at White Picket Realty. I want to let you know that when you're ready to stop working your real estate career and start building a real estate business, Team WPR is a place to be. Not only do we offer real results, real support, and real branding, but furthermore, 80 to 100% commissions of your hard-earned money going back to you. So make sure to reach out to us. Join at teamwpr.com. Again, that's join, Join, at teamwpr.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can find us live on Facebook and YouTube, where if you chat with us live during the show, we can answer your questions live on the air. Now, we're talking about Airbnb today, which is a little niche that some people have found. And look, the one thing I'm going to tell you, and this is not really a tip, this is more a, how do I know if Airbnb is right for me? And this is the one thing I've told a lot of investors, because there's a lot of investors, a ton of them that have rentals, and they're like, I think I want to convert some of them to Airbnb properties because they make more money. And this is I guess it is a tip. The tip is how to know if it's right for you or not.
It's not for everyone.
Because it's not for everyone. And one thing that you got to understand, the day that you go from being a landlord to doing Airbnb, you've entered a new industry.
That's right.
Being a landlord is one thing. Owning a property and having to fix toilets and crap like that every now and then, that's being a landlord. Being an Airbnb owner, you are now in the service industry.
Mm-hmm. The hospitality.
You're in hospitality. You have to cater to your guests, and you have to go a little bit above and beyond if you want to create, Mario Segura said it earlier, if you want to create that great user experience that will get you good reviews, that will allow you to continue to increase your price, that will actually make it profitable for you.
Yep.
So if you don't like getting the phone calls, and you don't like dealing with people and meeting them and saying hi and setting up the house and having it smell good and having good soaps and decorations and all those little things, Airbnb is not right for you. Just because you can make more money doesn't mean you'll do a good job at it. You have to actually enjoy the hospitality side. And that's one thing that I found, I'm sure that you found too in Airbnb, is I liked the hospitality side. I enjoyed that. So for me, it was easy. I didn't mind when I had some guests from China one time, literally like from the rural lands of China that never turned on a stove before. I had to teach them how to turn on a stove. Didn't bother me, but I knew that's what you deal with, because you're going to be making more income, but you have a little bit more service work to do. And so that's one thing I'll say is, if you think that you can go straight from landlording to Airbnb and it's going to be the same game, you're playing on a completely different field. It would be like playing basketball on a soccer field. It's just not the same. It wouldn't work.
And you know, that's a big mistake that a lot of real estate investors make. They come to us for funding on these, and they're thinking, I'm just going to drop it on Airbnb and all of a sudden it's going to make me a ton of money. It's not that easy. You do have to set everything up, have a system in place, have standards in place. And we've been to Airbnbs because, you know, when we travel, we generally stay at Airbnbs because we like to experience what other people are doing. And we have been to some really amazing ones, but the majority of them haven't been that great. And it's because the owners are still learning. They're still going through that trial and error process. And unfortunately, they may not get the best reviews, kind of like one of our comments said, is it's about getting those great reviews.
Because then you get on Airbnb, you become a super host, you have all those great reviews. I mean, that's who I gun for first. All right, let me go look at the super host. And that's where I'm really choosing from. And now Airbnb has even put in a new premier level. What's it called? Airbnb Plus.
Airbnb Plus, and then like when you search right now, right now, you can actually tell it, I only want to stay at Superhost properties. So it's incredible how that works.
And I would say
let's finish giving them the tips though.
I want to give just one more tip before we jump into events. I think we've given some really good ones so far, and this is the last one for those of you that are getting ready to put your first Airbnb up. It's a very exciting moment to get your first Airbnb up on the market. Do not be upset when you're not flooded with a bunch of requests to book your property at the price that you wanted. this is the biggest tip I can give people, and this is something that we actually had to learn from trial and errors. You have to start the pricing on your Airbnbs lower.
Yeah.
You start them low so that you can get people in, get good reviews, get to that superhost status, show that, oh, response rate, less than an hour. Oh, wow, they're fast. Oh, people are happy staying here. They're saying that the place is clean and beautiful and that they like the area. And slowly, little by little, $5, $10, $10, $10, and you keep increasing your price, and you'll start seeing all of a sudden you've got entire months booked out at a much higher price. But if you're expecting on day one to come in at top of market and you're a brand new host on Airbnb, you're burning yourself. You're setting yourself up for failure. Absolutely. And you're going to be really upset when you have no bookings and you're like, but my place is beautiful. Yeah, but people want to see that you have the reviews. So start low. Know that you're going to take a hit for about a month or two until you have about 5 to 10 reviews is about where you start actually seeing people feel comfortable booking at a higher price point.
Absolutely. Very good tips. All right, so making sure that you have the right insurance, making sure that you check on the guests that you're going to stay there.
Yeah, you know, it's more so you want to make sure that your HOA
and
is
making
okay.
Sure that the HOA isn't going to sue you
absolutely,
for all of this. Very good tips. Make sure you guys write those down, and feel free to follow up with us in case you guys have any more questions on that. This is something that we really have a lot of interest in, and it turns out that a lot of people are getting into this right now. There's a lot of funding for this now. There's a lot of lenders now actually dealing directly with Airbnb on funding more Airbnb purchases.
I know a couple of private lenders that will lend just based off of your income for your Airbnb. You show them that you've got 2 or 3 months booked up in the future, they will lend and they will refinance you out of your hard money 80% loan to value just off of your future income from your Airbnbs. That's awesome. So this is something that's becoming really big and popular, and it's even getting funding.
Yeah, and here's the thing though, buy them right, because it's like with anything else, you're making your money when you purchase these houses. So making sure that you're buying them in the right areas, making sure they're buying the right properties. The biggest houses aren't the biggest money makers. No. Sometimes the smaller ones are. All right, we're running out of time, so let's talk a little bit about events, and hopefully we have enough time to play our game, because I would hate to end the show without playing
real quick,
Is It Races game.
Next week, so we're done with a big event for this week, which was jet landing, which was last night. Next week on the 22nd, Tuesday, real estate networking mixer by Capital Concepts. That one's at Chapman and Kirby from 5:30 to 8:30. And then the next night on the 23rd, which is Wednesday, Quest IRA is hosting their casino night. That's from 6:30 to I think about 10:30. Tickets are $25, but those are benefiting the Houston Area Parkinson's Society. There's going to be an amazing event, a fun-filled night. And I'm ready to do the craps table, which we're actually sponsoring.
They asked me to make it just real clear to everyone that's not a payment to go to the event. That's a donation towards the
Houston Area Parkinson's
Society, because Quincy was diagnosed with Parkinson's, so they want to give something back to that society to try to find a cure.
For those of you guys that don't know who Quincy is, which probably very few people are in that category, Quincy is one of the founders of Quest IRA.
Absolutely,
so it's definitely someone that we want to support. It's definitely a cause that we want to support. Absolutely. So if you guys are out there, you're in the real estate industry, you're watching the show, grab a ticket, go out there and hang out, and catch us at the craps table, because that's what we're
sponsoring.
We're going to be hanging out there and having a good time for sure. What other events do we have?
So, and then the last one, big one, June 5th, the biggest real estate happy hour in town at St. Arnold's Brewing Company, hosted by yours truly, Jet Lending and IMG Mortgage. We're going to be renewing the real estate rally for part 3, St. Arnold's Brewing Company, 6 to 9 p.m. We're going to have close to 400 real estate professionals there on site again. We got free beer on tap all night, free food while it lasts, and new this happy hour, a special type of ticket, very own VIP, which has priority drink service, priority food, priority entrance. You'll be able to rub shoulders with industry leaders, and, you know, be treated like the VIP that you are.
Absolutely. Make sure you guys catch one of those tickets by visiting us on Houston Real Estate Events here on Facebook. And then David's going to drop that link down below so you guys can get your tickets now. That's happening in a couple weeks. So
June 5th, not far away.
Get ready. Put that on your calendar. It's a phenomenal event, and it's really growing. It's going to the next level this round. So we're excited to see everyone there. What else do we have?
That's going to be we're out of time. But
we're going to get a chance to play our game.
We'll play one round real quick.
Okay, one quick round.
So recently, there was a black real estate investor, and this was in what city was this at?
Memphis.
In Memphis. Okay, so Memphis, Tennessee. And he was at a home that was vacant when a neighbor came out and berated him and said, "You're trying to break into the home," because he was pulling boards off of the front of the house.
Yeah.
And she started yelling at him, and she basically called the police on him, trying to get him arrested.
She calls the police on him because she sees a man who is African American walking into a house that's boarded up next door.
Absolutely.
And so the police come over and question him, asking him what's going on. But he's got a contract to purchase the house. He's got permission from the owner to enter the house. And she's sitting in her front yard just
and she continued to berate him. Even after the police came, they investigated, like, okay, he's got everything he needs.
Yeah, provided
and
his
she
proof.
was still berating him. "Get out of here. We don't need you around here." That's right. There's no way to know if she was saying, like, "We don't need you as an investor around here," or "We don't need you because of the color of his skin or who he was," or anything. But the question is it racist?
At first, I would say not so. But after you got proof that man has permission to enter,
and she's still yelling?
He's where he should be, and you're still yelling, it's a little racist.
Yeah, it's a little racist.
She definitely took it to the next level. But we want to hear from you guys. So if you guys thought this is racist, make sure that you see the link below.
We posted the link below.
Make your own decisions. You guys tell us what you think. If you think it's racist, what do we want them to do? Like a thumbs up or an angry face?
If
it's
angry face for racist,
angry
thumbs
face
up for not racist.
Yeah.
Thumbs up for not racist.
Leo says yes, racist for sure.
Make sure you give us those angry faces.
Leo's like, I don't even need to see the video.
Down below.
Racist.
Thank you guys for joining us on today's show. It's been fun. As always, we're on every Tuesday and Thursday, 1:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Don't forget to keep up your ruckus, and we'll see you next time.
Later, guys.
This has been the Realty Ruckus. Make sure and join us every Tuesday and Friday for new episodes. Find us on YouTube and Facebook for replays of previous episodes. And as always, keep elevating yourself and keep up your ruckus. Thanks for listening. Realty Ruckus has been brought to you by Smart Pig Media Productions.